Okay, here we go. So it is the breakdown fight for our big supporter. The breakdown fight for our big supporter, Ruben Guerrero and member. So shout out to Ruben Guerrero. This is for you, specifically for you, because I know you're a Lawrence Okolie fan. I've had a lot to say about Lawrence Okolie, and you'd think a lot of it was that I hated Lawrence Okolie. I don't. Lawrence Okolie, like myself, is from Hackney. Lawrence Okolie went to school in Stoke Newington. Well, I got family that live in Stoke Newington, and I'm from Hackney. So, it's always great to hear somebody from Hackney doing well for themselves and doing better for themselves. So, anybody from Hackney that does what they do, good luck to them. But when we talk about boxing, we talk about this fight, Krzysztof Glowacki against Lawrence Okolie. It's a big fight. It's a good fight. But I want to just divert for that for 1 second, and I want to talk about another one. Maris Breedis. I want to say to you all that Breedis that this is a guy that is in my top 10 of guys that I like or I have a real passion for in boxing. I feel very strongly about this man, and I actually believe if I if I had if I was a manager in boxing, I would manage Breedis and I would take him on a journey to become heavyweight champion of the world because I truly believe that Breedis is the truth. I really do think Maris Breedis is the truth. Yes, he got beat by Usyk, but I think he's the truth. I'd put more stock in Breedis than I would in Michael Hunter. I put more stock in Breedis than I'll put in Garcia. I really think that Breedis has what it takes to become heavyweight champion of the world. I really do. So I just wanna clarify that for a start. Ruben Guerrero is in the house. I just waited for you. Um, he waited for you. And Breedis is one of my favourites. So when people say, who's one of your favourite boxers? Breedis is one of my favourite boxers. Yes, I would rush home to watch Breedis fight. I love Maris Breedis. And the reason why I brought up Breedis is he's the guy that stopped Glowacki. One of the very few guys that stopped Glowacki was Breedis. So let's go into this. Lawrence Okolie is not like your typical British fighter fighting for a world title. So let's clarify that straight away. Let's get something straight away. In terms of accomplishments, he's won British, Commonwealth, and European championships. He's actually beaten champions to be a champion. He's done something that Tony Bellew hasn't done. British champion, he beat the British champion, Commonwealth champion, and European champion. And I don't want to be rude. He actually achieved more belt wise than Dillian White. That's not being disrespectful. That's just what it is. So you got Tony Bellew and Dillian White. So he's done it the right way, British, Commonwealth, European. And he's done his punching power, for the most part, has got him there. British, Commonwealth, and European. Now he takes the next step into world level. Now, the guy who fought for the European title, to be honest, didn't know anything about him, didn't care for him. But as I said, in that fight, I noticed that he hurt Lawrence Okolie. Briefly, he hurt him. Got a good shot. The cruiserweight division is a very underrated division. But one punch in that cruiserweight division can change everything, literally everything. Now, the question is, can Lawrence Okolie become WBO cruiserweight champion of the world? He can. He actually can beat Glowacki. If he's allowed to get away with what he's got away with so far in his career. And some of the things he's got away with in his career so far has been criminal. Lawrence Okolie has a nice jab, nice long jab, and he's got a big right hand. He sets everything off the jab. He uses his jab as a rangefinder. He puts the jab out there, and as soon as he feels that you are about to step past the jab, He rams the right hand straight down your throat. That's something that Lawrence Okolie does very well. Everything is based off that jab, right hand, jab, right hand. Do you know what I mean? It's in some ways it's almost Klitschko like. Jab, right hand. But if you start to close the range of Lawrence Okolie, that's where it becomes a problem for Lawrence Okolie. He seems to struggle with guys who start to get on top of him. Now, Glowacki is a southpaw, which poses his own problems, which is a southpaw, which poses its own problems. Now, the equalizer to southpaw is a good right hand. So he has got a good right hand there, Lawrence Okolie. He seems to have enough punching power to cause problems. I don't know if he's got elite punching power. I don't know if he knocks out the best cruiserweights in the world. I don't know that. I know Glowacki can. The thing about this fight, which makes it so interesting, is Glowacki has been knocked out before by Breeders, who I rate very highly, and is an explosive puncher and can knock guys out at heavyweight, knocking out Manuel Shah, right? A thing that not even Vitaly Klitschko could do, really making mincemeat of him. And I think that was the Manuel Shah that was being trained by Lennox Lewis. Let's remember that as well. What Glowacki does do well, he's tough and strong, but what he does is that he can box long range, and this is the one that Okolie and his team need to worry about, mid-range and up close. For Okolie fans that like his hugging and his holding and appreciate that, well, this fight ain't going to be happening. And if it does, it could be to his own undoing. And I'll explain why. When Glowacki gets close, he doesn't just throw one punch, he throws a cluster of punches. He throws combination punches, 3s and 4s, and he gets you against the ropes. The other thing Glowacki does, he works nicely to the body as well. He'll throw his combination and dig one to the body. You know, he's very good at closing range down, getting close to you, and letting his hands go. Glowacki's got fast hands and he can punch. And he's a big guy for the division. Okay? So Glowacki has what it takes to neutralize Lawrence Okolie. And when Lawrence Okolie's up close, he doesn't know how to throw punches on the inside. He's not an inside fighter. That's why he does all this grabbing and holding. So that's why he hugs fighters the way he does, right? Because he can't fight on the inside. He's inept in that. So he stick to his strengths. His strengths are jab, right hand. If Glowacki's team see that, they'll say, this guy can't fight on the inside. Get past the jab, and it's Christmas time. And you can become champion. And you can do it so by knocking this guy out sensationally. So, here we go. 14 fights, he's fought decent opponents. Not the usual build-up for matchroom fighters. Lawrence can't throw short punches, which means he can't fight offensively on the inside, so he's hugging to death. Lawrence's right hand has got better each fight. Okay, so let's get on to this. Not the usual build-up for matchroom fighters. No, because, like I said, he's done it the right way. British, Commonwealth, European. He's done it the right way. He's not been fast-tracked, and if he has been fast-tracked, he's been good enough to win those titles. So this is not your typical matchroom fighter situation, because your typical matchroom fighter, for the most part, gets matched quickly, and they're not good enough, or they're not ready, or they're not experienced enough. This guy is different. So please give me credit where it's due, and give Lawrence Okolie credit for what he's achieved. Right? I'm not biased on the channel. I'm calling it for what it is. Please appreciate that. So now you say here, Lawrence Okolie's got better, right hand's got better in each fight. Well, I would argue with you in that. I mean, has the opposition got better? I mean, the guy that fought for the European, who's the European champion, I don't think he was any better than the British champion. The guy that he fought, I don't know what his name was, Mark Kabu or whatever his name was. This guy that Okolie fought, last guy Okolie fought for the European. Let me get his name for you. Let me get the guy's right name. I don't want to get his resume up. I'll tell you, this guy he fought for the European title. And I thought, when I looked at it, I thought the guy was absolute garbage. European, he played the worst European champion I've seen. Worst European champion. Let me get the guys. Let me get the guy for you. Let me get the guys. What's his name? Yeah, the guy was unbeaten. His name was can't find it. Yves Nagbu. Nagbu. Well, Nagbu's Belgium. He's number 2 rated in Belgium. 19th in the world. 90, 100, 1,002. And then the guys he's fought. The guy he made his debut against had won 18 fights and lost 30. Then he fought a guy with 9-7, 14-5, 7-9, 9-1, 18-9, 32-5, 25-1. None of the guys on that resume do I recognize. Not one of them. And guess what? They were all in Belgium. So he's fought. So it was a Belgium guy he fought. How many good Belgian fighters do you know? Not many. Luther Clay from my hometown. Fought Nagab. Okay, how good was he? He later got caught popping. Well, I don't rate much of Nagab. He's not very good at all. Not very good. Not very good. So for me, look at this situation with Glowacki. It's two things. First of all, is punch resistance. He's now 34 years old. He had that Breedis fight, but Breedis aside, it's very special. It's a case of whether Glowacki can get inside. If Glowacki can get inside on Lawrence Okolie, which I believe he can, Glowacki can go through the middle and he can go over the top. He's got an overhand, like left or right, whichever it would be. Punches over the top. And the thing about Lawrence Okolie, when he jabs, he's got a low held left hand, which is dangerous against a guy like Glowacki, who will come in and throw shots over the top. So when you go to grab, he'll throw punches over the top. He'll go to the body. So this is a dangerous fight. Very, very dangerous fight for Lawrence Okolie. Lawrence Okolie can win this fight if he can keep Glowacki at the end of the jab and hit him through the right hand. But I think Glowacki's faster than Okolie. He's got faster hands than Okolie. He works better on the inside of Okolie. He fights better at mid-range than Okolie. The only thing Okolie may have the advantage of is long range. So if Okolie can keep the fight at long range, he beats Glowacki. But if, like I say always, if Okolie's back is touching the ropes against a guy like Glowacki at mid to close range, it's curtains for Mr. Okolie. You know, unless there's some real hometown cooking going on and he can fiddle his way to a world title. The way, if Glowacki's going to get knocked out, he'll get knocked out by being on the end of a Okolie right hand rushing forward. That's how Glowacki will get knocked out. I don't see Glowacki getting knocked out mid to close range. So if the knockout's going to come for Okolie, it's if Glowacki's going to get knocked out, it'll be at mid range. Oh no, it'll be at long range. Okolie dropping that left hand out as a rangefinder and popping up right hand through the middle. Now that stuff's worked effectively against the current, the former European champion. Going backwards, it's worked. Is it effective against a guy like Glowacki? I don't know. I just don't know. So my answer to this fight is, for the night, it's really going to depend. Do I think Glowacki could KO Okolie or beat him on work rate? Well, let's see what Russell says. Luther Clay under the wing of Fast Cut Eddie probably be thrown to the wolves. Yes, he will. Glowacki pressure will be tough. That's the thing. Glowacki will put pressure on Okolie and they'll put him in a fight he's never been in before, and his back will be against the wall. He calls himself Hot Sauce, but he might be dealing with some fire on the night, some real fire. You know, he might be doing some real fire on the night, because it's the way I'm looking this fight here. If Glowacki can keep pressure on Cody, keep the fight short, close range to mid range, it's a Glowacki fight. And if he gets close, he'll knock Okolie out for sure. He can knock Okolie out. He can definitely knock Okolie out. And by the way, I thought I'd break some news to you all as well while I'm at it. Dillian Whyte's rematch will be November. I think it's around November the 19th, I'm hearing. His rematch against Povetkin will be around November the 19th. That's what I'm hearing. Agreed for November the 19th. So there's some breaking news for you there to hear. So I don't know. I know that when Glowacki hits Okolie on the chin, he hits him with something nasty. Okolie's not going to like it, one, and I think he's going to go into shell. That's what I think. So Glowacki's going to be bringing it. Let's just hope that Hot Sauce is able to deal with the fire. Yeah, so Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin 2, November, around November the 19th, I believe. So I understand, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So yeah, I think for this fight breakdown, ultimately, closer to the fight, I'll probably give my prediction. But for now, I'm edgy with Glowacki. And why I'm edgy with Glowacki? Because he's got more versatility about him. He can box from long range, he can box from mid range, and he can box up close. Lawrence Okolie can only box one way, and it's yet to be. It's questions need to be asked whether he can handle a hot pace against a guy who can punch and knows when to punch, how to punch, and will do it with ferocity and a work rate. How would you see Okolie faring against Makabu? What, Makabu was out a year before when Bellew fought him. I don't know. Not sure. Is Glowacki the weakest belt holder? He's not a belt holder. This is for the vacant WBO title. So I don't know how he's the weakest belt holder. It's for the vacant WBO title. So it's up for grabs. So those are my thoughts on this fight. At a later date, I'm going to come spin back and look at it again, probably closer to the time. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, BWTN Sports. Thanks for tuning in.